I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this episode is being recorded and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Welcome to Can I Get a Refill, the podcast that offers a nurturing and inspirational space for honest and open discussions around career aspirations, wealth creation, motherhood, healthy relationships with others and the self, as well as an emphasis on physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Join us for light-hearted, authentic chats with like-minded women, as well as more in-depth discussions with industry professionals to support your ambitions and heal old wounds, as we empower you to regularly fill up your own cup. I'm your host, Steph Bruno-Newton, singer, writer, recovering people pleaser, first-time podcast host, and soon-to-be first-time mum. Thank you for pressing play today, and now let's get into the episode. Welcome back to the Can I Get a Refill podcast. We are continuing on from our last episode, Manifesting 101. We did part 1 in the last episode. This is a continuation. If you haven't listened to the last episode, press pause, jump back in and listen to that. And we're continuing on right now with Harmony. Hello again, Harmony.
Hello.
Okay, I think the last point, we're just going to jump straight into it because there's so much to talk about. I think the last point we were on was language. So we're going to shoot now to number 7 on our list, which is ask, believe, receive. Make your manifestations like a restaurant order. So a lot of people talk about with manifesting, I think they mentioned it in The Secret, is ask the universe for what you want, believe it's already on its way to you, receive it with love and gratitude. So I like to write it down on a piece of paper and ask the universe for what I want. As I said, I don't necessarily do the asking. I do it more in present tense, but you can definitely ask if that's your preferred language. But I let it go and I trust that the universe will deliver. I used to. I no longer cling to it with desperation. Actually, that reminds me of when Alan and I first got together. I was single for about a year and I did get to a stage where I wanted a partner and I was going out on a lot of dates, which is fine. It's good practice. But I think I was trying to make it happen and some real duds were coming up. And when I went, fuck this, I have so much more fun on my own with my friends. I let go. I still had the list of what I wanted in a partner, but I let go. I was hanging out with my girlfriends, had the best singing year with heaps of gigs, heaps of radio interviews and airplay. And then Alan popped up and I was on his wavelength, he was on mine. But I trusted that the universe would deliver and I stopped checking and I let it go. When you go into a restaurant and you order your gnocchi or whatever you order, you don't run into the kitchen and go, just checking. You cooking that gnocchi? Did you get my order? You're going to put parmesan? Well, they always forget the parmesan, so you do that. You trust that the waiter took your order. You trust that the chef's going to cook it. You trust that the waiter's going to deliver your food because, 9.5 times out of 10, that's always how it happens unless something goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of having, detachment is key with manifestation, or the universe will see you as a stage 5 clinger. So I think you've got to be specific, put it out there, but let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 8, take inspired action. This is where people get a little bit mixed up, and then when people were saying The Secret was bullshit. The Secret's not bullshit, but you don't ask for a very successful business or $1 million, jump on your couch with a packet of chips and put Netflix on and do nothing.
Yes.
You put it out there and you create the roadmap, but then you can sit down and create a list of these are the action steps that I want to take. So I believe in, they do say don't focus on the how. So just focus on the what and the why and why it's important to you. And like I was saying when I won that 10 grand 3 days before my music video, I just trusted that the money, I'd come up with it. I always do. It's that, supply and demand. You always find a way for the things you want financially, right? Somehow, whether you borrow it or whatever, but it always comes to you when you need it for a purpose. So manifestors will say don't focus too much on the how. It's like that's the universe's job, like put it in their hands. So I think you can make action steps of what you want to do, and I believe that the universe rewards really proactive, positive people. So when you believe you're going to get it and when you take steps. So Jim Carrey that I was talking about who wrote that $10 million check, he didn't then just go lay on the beach all day. He went for auditions.
Yeah.
So he put out there what he wanted. He didn't think, how's it going to happen? But he's like, I will take these steps to get to what I want. So nothing in this world frustrates me more than people complaining about a situation they're in and doing nothing about it. So if you're in a job you hate and you've been in that job for 10 years, I'm sorry, but you fix up that CV. You look for jobs, you send out resumes, something will pop up. You can't just be complaining about something and why isn't it changing? It's not changing because you're not doing anything about it. So
and if you're manifesting that and not taking the steps appropriate to get that, then you're not really manifesting it. It's a whole
yes, it's that co-creating with the universe. So people that don't do anything about it and complain are the people that I clash with. So I'm always like, do something about it. Like, grab life by the balls. Imagine if this was your only chance at life. Who knows if you reincarnate? Stop waiting for Superman to come and rescue. No one is coming. Yeah. No one is coming to fix things. No one was coming to fix when I was in an abusive relationship. I had to do the inner work, get strength and leave. Yeah. No one, the universe provided me with the 10 grand but for that music video, but I went out there. I worked my ass off creating, the song, finding the people, creating the music video. And when we were doing the music video, which was the best 2 days of my life, the filmmaker at the end was like, you worked your ass off. Like, he really respected me. I walked over a hornet's nest and they flew up and attacked my back and I was like, keep rolling. I got my day one period the second we started shooting. I caught a cold or a flu or whatever. It was a bit chilly and I had this like dress on and then they had like this, it's like a reverse like lawnmower blowing the air. Oh. And I got a chill the next day. I was so sick. I mean, you don't have to sing, but, and then, the hornets, and something else happened. And he's like, but I was having so much fun, didn't care. And he's like, you worked really, really hard. So, the universe rewards proactive, positive people. So make it happen. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about with inspired action is having like a totem or something that's sort of that little piece of your future that you're looking forward to. So you're in a place you don't like, you can start selling some old furniture you don't like on Gumtree. I've recently sold things and made pretty good money. And then you can have, like I do, a Temple and Webster wish list of all the furniture you're going to have in your next place. So I have a vision of it. I know someone who bought a home in a more mature age and she never really believed that it was going to happen. Then all of a sudden she started looking at ways like, no, I can make this happen. And she did something that I loved. It was key manifesting. She bought a house mat with the family name written on it and kept it like in the little Harry Potter cupboard under the stairs. And it was like, I'm saving that for my new home. And she got that home and it's a beautiful home and that mat's out the front. And I loved that. It was a person that I think is not particularly positive all the time, but that was what impressed me most about them. It was very
determined.
Yes, determined. And as she started taking inspired action of making calls and finding out home loan rates and all that, everything fell into place once she took inspired action. Sitting back going, I wish I had a home. Nothing will happen. I cannot stress that enough. You cannot sit and wish. And this is where, people were criticising The Secret like, oh, you can't just say it and it'll happen. Well, no, I don't think anyone really said that on The Secret. I think they said you put it out there if you want it bad enough. But if you want it bad enough, you are taking inspired action. So, definitely.
Whether you believe it.
Yes.
It's not magic. I don't believe that manifesting is magic.
Nope.
I think that it is like a structured process of
getting
somewhere.
It is. They can measure, like, it is energy. It is like attracts like. So, number 9 is letting go of resistance and limiting beliefs. So this can be a really hard one for most. If you have repeatedly had partners who treated you poorly, it might be how you're seeing yourself. So I will never, ever say you should take the blame for an abusive partner. But if you're going from one partner to the next, to the next, to the next, and there's a common thread, and the common thread is that they're treating you poorly, I think you have to look at how you see yourself. Yeah. Do you really believe you're worthy? And I had poor partners, and then I got to a stage where I worked on myself, and I just believed I deserved the best. And Alan is not a perfect person, but he's the perfect mate for me. Have to look at how you're sort of contributing to things. And I think limiting beliefs is that. So if someone, you know how like people who were born into rich families, whether they get handouts or not, they don't find it that hard to find money because they've never really known not having it. So to them, they have the belief in the back of their mind that it'll come. And I think, if you've got in that family where the only way you can get rich is if you win the lotto, or you can only buy a house if your family's rich and gives you a starting thing, that's a barrier for a lot of people, So I think that I don't think I was taught money beliefs well until I met Alan. And this is where the school system fails. I feel like I've never used algebra. I could have really learned to, be better with my finances or do my taxes. So I think that's a bit of a thing. But you need to do the work to break this pattern, right? So that can look differently for everyone. For me, it was a combination of I did therapy to let things go and work on my self-worth. Meditation courses, Reiki, spiritual healer. I've got a spiritual healer that I'm trying to get on the show. She's amazing. Self-development books, mirror work, affirmations. So I had to look back at the pattern in my life, identify the issues and the reasons behind them, and then work at developing the love and respect for myself and in turn letting go of old limiting beliefs. Yeah. So I do see that with some people attracting the same partner over and over again, and I'm like, I feel for them. But I can't tell someone certain things. They need to get there on their own too, of how you can nudge, you can
help them to see something, but they need to see it to do something about it. That was like, when the first half of my life, like up until I was, 14 or something.
First half of your life thus far, there's plenty more to go.
I in my family, I was seen as like the family bitch. I was just a bitch.
Well, we're just talking about your resting bitch face. Yeah. Maybe that's why. God, I would absolutely never get that from you. My God.
Yeah, well, that was hard work.
I'd like to meet your siblings. They're probably really nice.
They are. Very nice. But I was a bitch. I was so angry at things, and I used to manipulate people, and I was really harsh and heavy. And then something happened. My dad said something to me. He was like, "You don't love your brother. You have to be nice even though you don't love him." I was like, "I love him. I really love him." And then I went back and I thought about it, like, why doesn't my dad think that I love him? It's like, because that's what I'm projecting. So immediately I decided then, like, I'm not a bitch. Yeah. I'm a loving, like, kind, warm person. And from that second,
things changed.
I changed. And it was really uncomfortable for my family at first. They were like, what is she doing? Like, she's got a knife behind her back.
Change is always uncomfortable for family.
But now, like, no one would ever believe that I was a bitch or the biggest bitch of my family. Like,
I wonder, there must have been something that was bothering you and then you were projecting it.
I just decided, because I knew I was harsh, I was a bitch, I wasn't nice. I knew that, and I was like, nah, I am.
You just said the key manifesting phrase, I just decided.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is the key. It's like, I've just decided this is going to happen for me. I've just decided I'm doing this. Honestly.
It's so simple.
It's
so simple. But then the actions I took, like everything was intentional. Like, I'm going to tell everybody I love them before I get off the phone. And I'd never really said that before.
That's hard to introduce when you haven't grown up with it. I think I mentioned that on a previous podcast. People in my family tried to introduce that in my late 20s or 30s, and I was like, no, I can't.
Well, no, everyone used to say it except for me.
Oh, okay.
It should have been easy, but it wasn't. So
I really want to meet Old Harmony. Just out of curiosity to compare.
She's not nice.
Yeah, but it could have been teenage hormones as well.
No, from when I was a child as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
can't picture that with you ever. You're so like walking love and light. You know what I mean?
I decided.
Yes.
And it's not fake though. There's a difference between like seeming a certain way, because I feel that way. Like, I love everybody around me. I love everything I'm doing. I love my memories and my past and my future.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, I've never faked an orgasm and I can never fake a feeling. And like someone once said to me, when you're pissed off with someone, it's very obvious. But that's okay. I think I'm just very authentic. I can't fake things. Yeah. So if I'm uncomfortable, you know it. If I'm not liking our relationship, you know it. I can't fake. So yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. It was mindset. It was a mindset shift, and it was your decision. And I just think that is the key to all manifesting. Yeah. You decided.
And you're in control of what you're doing. Like,
you're always in control.
You're in control of your own life, how you do things, what you think, what you feel, and what you say.
Someone once said to me, the lady who does my injections, who I can't wait to see again, she said, "You're very self-aware." It was one of my favourite compliments. The two favourite compliments I got is that, and my brother-in-law said, he goes, "I love your tenacity." I love that. I like to think of those compliments when I'm feeling down. Self-aware is such an important quality to have, and I feel like they're the healthiest people, and they're the ones creating healthy relationships and success because you're self-aware. You were self-aware to go, when your dad made that comment and you were young, you looked at yourself, why, what am I doing to make him think that?
Yeah.
How can I tweak something? And that's a key to manifesting. So if, that expression of definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. If you're still broke, if you're still living paycheck to paycheck, what are you doing that you can tweak? If you keep having relationships where people are taking advantage of you or abusing you, not your fault, but what can you tweak to stop that from happening?
What belief do you have as
Yes,
well? Yeah.
limiting beliefs. So they're hard to break. It's a lot of work. That's an ongoing thing. That's not an overnighter, but it's definitely something to work on. Number 10, this is really important. If you go to the Instagram page, I've got a little video on this. Release your current situation with love. I love this. I think I probably learned this from Louise Hay, and that's something that I brought in a few years back. I think I was just telling you, I have never really lasted in jobs more than 5 years, which is fine. I sort of, go all out, bring what I can to it. And then if it gets to a point where it's stale, I feel like there's nothing I can bring to you anymore. There's nothing that this can bring to my life. I've, learned all I can, and it's sort of at a stale point, so then it might be time to move on. But every time I've moved on from a relationship, from a home, from a job, I do a whole thing of thank you so much for, a job. That job's brought a lot of money into your bank account. It might have introduced you to people that led you to something else to do. Like every situation I've been in, it has brought something to my life, whether it be blessings or lessons, but it has helped me grow into the person that I am. And I release it with love to the next person. So I thank it, it's gratitude, and then release it with love because there's probably some young girl dying for that opportunity. So I release it to her and I leave it. I have kissed desks at jobs like, oh, thank you for the memories. And I leave it as a nice energetic space for someone else to come in and enjoy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have that specific thing, but just I feel like loving where you are currently sets you up to go on to the next thing.
Yes.
Well, you know? Like if you're one of those people who are just like, oh, fuck this place, I'm going.
Okay.
Why would the next place be inviting?
It won't, because it's you. And I used to work with this girl, the current company I'm at, who I described as cancer of the company. Very attractive girl, absolutely just your typical mean girl. She was just mean. And when I was leaving, she's like, why are you bothering? Because I left the company I'm at now during COVID, worked close at home, and I came back because I left on such good terms. They were happy to have me back. I typed up the most thorough handover process, which I'm doing now for my replacements in my maternity leave, so thorough because I had built something so good. I didn't want it to fall by the wayside when I left. I wanted it to carry on. I created that. But also, I give a fuck about people. Why would I want someone to suffer? I've had jobs where no one's given me a handover and I'm like crying at my desk. I don't know what I'm doing. So I want to create, something beautiful for the next person. And I looked at her and I thought, well, that's the difference between you and me.
Yeah.
And she just left that place like, fuck this place, fuck that. And had, it's unfortunate, but she's had not great things happen in her life, but she's the common denominator. If you're, fuck this place, fuck that job, fuck that.
Fuck my ex and
what? Yeah. Firstly, what's the I'll fuck all the jeans. That's an emotional thing, shopping for jeans. But girls with thick thighs like me, it's a real process. Can't wait to fit back into them. Where was I? No, seriously, it's a reflection of you, but everything, I mentioned this in the red flag relationship, every ex I've had, they were in my life for a purpose, for a reason. And they either brought wonderful things to me or they brought lessons that made me learn something wonderful about myself. And I've released them all with love. And I truly hope I believe some of them are very happy and married and have kids. And that's great. Oh, I saw something on Instagram. God, I wish I had it saved. I'm going to look for it for another episode. And someone wrote the most beautiful thing of how my life is a mosaic of every, I'm eating this curry at this Indian restaurant because, a roommate once who I don't talk to anymore introduced me to this thing and I love the taste of it. And, I'm doing something that an ex introduced me to. And the person spoke about everything in their past with such love and gratitude that I'm a mosaic of I got goosebumps. I'm like a mosaic. My life is a mosaic of everyone I've crossed paths with.
Yeah.
I love that.
All
I
the
literally have
contributions.
goosebumps.
Yeah,
I just think that's, and every time I look at things with gratitude, good stuff happens to me, Oh, that actually just reminded me when I was talking about the energy thing, I forgot to mention. When I do all the walks in the morning on the esplanade on the beach, people, animals, babies look at me, migrate to me when I'm on my good playing field. When I'm doing my affirmations and I'm in that good space, they're attracted to my energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is off topic from this point, but I do remember it from the other one. So I just want to come back to that. You're magnetic. Like babies will stare at me and smile. Birds will fly over my head. Dogs will come and jump on me. I think I'm on that. When things are going well, my energy is unmatched and I love it. And I know, like I was saying, when you stub your toe and you start having a bad day, no one's looking at me. No one's migrating towards me. No one wants to be around that energy. So anyway, it's just something I remember that I got to say. This is the last point. This is really important. This is consistency. Didn't have it on the initial list I sent you, but I thought of it this morning. I'm like, of course. When you go to the gym, you don't go once, squat once, and then go 3 months later, why is my ass so mushy? Right? It's consistency. So I think when people complain, I manifested and it didn't work. You manifested. Why aren't you manifesting? What the fuck? I can't listen to people like that. It's just so annoying. I got no patience anymore. But this needs to be a practice. Now, when you're going to the gym, you might not go 7 days a week, and I actually don't believe you should. I think one day should be a rest day because of that. Your muscles have to. The rest is what creates the muscle. You might have shit days or busy days where you can't meditate, where you can't write your affirmations, where you can't. That's okay. But if you're doing them 5-6 days a week and someone does them once every 3 months, who's having the more successful life?
Yeah. Well, it's a part of your commitment.
And then the universe will recognise that this bitch is serious.
Yeah.
So
she's going to get there. So
yes,
let's help her along.
And it's so much easier to fall back into the negative. It is harder to do the positive. But once you're in it, it's like going to the gym. Once you're in it, you're in it. And it's like the hardest part of your workout is at the moment, for me, it's getting shoes on. it's so hard. I need Alan to pull them on. I can't reach my own feet anymore. But the hardest part is getting started. And once you're in it, it's like that 10 minutes into a run. I just feel so, so good. But it's consistency. I find, I always say with people, I find it's 2 weeks to change, to either break a habit or get into a new habit. I think if you're doing it consistently daily for 2 weeks, all of a sudden it feels really normal. So I think you need to look at how you can make manifesting a practice. So if you have no time to sit and do things, I know you're driving to work. I know you can play manifesting podcasts or listen to audiobooks, or you can play affirmations on YouTube, or you can just say them out loud. You're having possibly a 8-10 minute shower. You can say affirmations in the shower. When you go to the toilet, no, that's probably not a great place to go. So don't take your phone and say affirmations, but don't do it while you're pooping because that's going to create a really negative look at it. I know everyone has 5 minutes a day to put out there what they want, but it's consistently, as I said, so it's not just that one area of your life. You're doing 5 minutes of affirmations and then 23 hours of bitching.
Yes,
you're not going to get anywhere.
Talking about that's what I reckon with consistency. Everyone, I believe, is already manifesting.
Yes.
They're already constantly manifesting. And if you look at your life and you don't like it, then what have you been manifesting?
Absolutely spot on. Everything in your life is a manifestation of previous thought, previous words,
actions.
Well, they say something about thoughts. I read something once. I'm pretty sure 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. So if you're repeating the same thing in your head, like bills or that person at work doesn't like me, that shit's going to,
I'm too fat. I don't have enough money.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So consistency in all areas of your life. But you're definitely manifesting whether it's something good or something bad. So it's up to you. Yes, it's up to you to take control. And with all the tips that we've said, the language, the visualization, you're changing it with that. So I just think consistency. That's it for the points, but I want to go through a few quotes that are related to manifesting, a few books that I recommend, and a few podcasts related to manifesting. So quotes: what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. That's by Buddha. So true, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that.
Ask for what you want and be prepared to get it. Maya Angelou. I love her.
Me too.
Keep your mind fixed on what you want in life, not on what you don't. That's Napoleon Hill. So he wrote that Think and Grow Rich, which is like even like practical, pragmatic businessmen have read that book. But it perfectly marries like business and finance with manifesting. It's a really good read. Whether you think you can or can't, either way, you're right. Henry Ford, who actually introduced the 8-hour workday. So I kind of hate that guy. But this is my favorite that I talk about all the time. It's by James Redfield. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you're focusing on lack, you have lack.
Yeah.
If you're focusing on what you have, whether that be through your gratitude list of what you already have or what you want, that's what you're attracting to your life. You are an energy source. Money is an energy source. Another person that you might want to be a mate with, they're an energy source. So what are you attracting? Books, we mentioned The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's a great place to start. Not particularly in depth, but this is a great place to talk about the law of attraction. I haven't read these two, but I just downloaded audiobooks. Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein and The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. So I follow her on Instagram and I've listened to a few YouTube things. So I'm sure they're great and they got good ratings. Becoming Supernatural, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's another guy who talks on The Secret. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, which I just said. Now, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. It's not a manifesting book, but everything that turned out great in her whole life, it's a holistic thing. She manifests everything. So she sort of introduced me to, had like a boss, I think it was a boss, and everyone hated him. He hated everyone. And she would say affirmations of, I have great relationships with my managers and my landlord, and everything worked out for her. She kept getting extra shifts. She would get bonuses. Then with she needed to move and the landlord was helping her and he reduced the rent and he helped her organise to move the furniture. I do this all the time, and I have a really great friend, Liz, who once gave me this absolute dynamite line, charm to disarm. So if someone's pissing you off in your life, how can you charm them to turn it around? And I have this knack of I've worked with, when you get the really grumpy old people that like everyone hates them, I have a way of like just charming them with a bit of humour and they always end up helping me out.
Yes.
Oh, actually, that's something I wanted to mention earlier. I used to work at a law firm when I was 18 and like...
Did you?
Yeah. It didn't last very long. We'd be like drinking on our lunch breaks and stuff. But I'd gone from like part-time retail to full-time office work and it was really a big shift in gears and I like to talk to people. So it wasn't my favourite, but, I learned some things. But there was this lady, it was 2 levels, and I would go around handing out the mail and just like flirt with every lawyer. I was 18. And then and there was this one woman, she didn't like me, and apparently she made a complaint about how I dress. I look back now at how I dress and it was nothing, like maybe an off-the-shoulder top, but like in 2003, that was shocking, whereas now, like you could walk around in a G-string, right?
Yeah.
And she made a complaint about me. Anyway, I heard that she was struggling to fall pregnant and she was doing IVF. And I started saying prayers and affirmations for her and I started, wishing, I feel like I'm going to cry. And I like kept like saying, because she was a warm person. She just had an issue with me because I triggered something in her, right?
Yeah.
And I realised now that I triggered, but at the time I felt hurt that she complained about me. And then I think either I mentioned it to her or someone else mentioned it to her that I was praying for her to fall pregnant. When I left, everyone chipped in to give me money because they knew I was so poor. And this guy, Chris, in the mailroom said, guess who gave the most money? And it was that lady who made a complaint about me. That is my ultimate story of charm to disarm, right? So I shifted the story and the narrative and the relationship by wishing her well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Genuinely too.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
I really wanted that
love
woman to have kids. I hope she does now. It's been a long time since I've been there. I digress. That was You Can Heal Your Life, Louise Hay. And the last one is The Law of Attraction by Esther Hicks. Esther Hicks, I think that's the lady, but she talks and she has someone called Abraham Hicks who talks through her. It's kind of weird.
She's like channeling.
Someone. Yeah, it's kind of weird. If you look her up on YouTube, it's kind of weird. But I haven't read that book, but I've heard good things about it. My favourite podcasts, I listen to all these, Manifestation Babe by Catherine Zinkina. This is the very first podcast I ever listened to, It was around lockdown time, and I think I listened to like 200 episodes in one go. She's fantastic. She was like living on her grandmother's couch in debt. The woman's got like this, I think it's a 6-figure or 7-figure business where she does the podcast, but what I like about her is that she didn't have consistent podcasts. It's the same as how I used to write the blog. She would just record when she felt instead of making
Inspired,
it. Yeah. So all her podcasts are of such good value to me because it's when she really had a message to tell. She's fantastic. Manifestation Babe. Definitely check that out. She's just really simple, like breaks it down. The first thing that got her into manifesting was The Secret. So she just gives you really like step-by-step things. She's just very honest, but love her. Law of Attraction Changed My Life by Francesca Amber that I mentioned before. She started it in lockdown and now she's super successful. But she's really interesting, but really like it feels achievable because she's just the girl next door. Yeah, she's not flashy. She's just, she's awesome. The Mel Robbins podcast, she's an American lady, but she's really, really polished. So some people, my friend always like, I can't listen to that because she's got a very, very sort of, almost aggressive way of speaking. So I got to be in the mood to listen to her, but she's super intelligent. The Rise and Conquer podcast, Georgie Stevenson, who has Naked Harvest supplements. Do you know them?
Naked Harvest.
Like protein powder and stuff. So she's got this Rise and Conquer podcast. In fact, I bought a manifestation course on their website a podcast course before I started this. And that really helped me to sort of come up with what equipment I need and how to do it. So their podcast is great. Love that. There's another one called Make Shift Happen, Samantha Daly in America. And she just had something that is on my vision board of her podcast was advertised in Times Square on the big flashing lights and she stood in front of it, and I said to her, oh my God, that's totally on my vision board. So now I've taken a photo of her doing that, put that on my vision board too. So yeah, she's got some great tips. And the Can I Get a Refill podcast, because we're going to talk more and more about manifesting. So I recommend sticking around. That's it. That's all we've got time for. So we're definitely going to come back and do more on manifesting, and we'll break down each thing and talk about them more in depth. Harmony, my love, what are you doing in the next week to fill up your cup?
I am seeing my siblings.
Those lovely siblings.
Yes, yeah. They like me now. They'll see me. Yeah, we have a siblings night every few months or something, and that really just does fill my cup. Yeah.
How many siblings do you have again?
I've got 2 sisters and a brother.
That's so nice.
Yeah, we love each other.
Yeah. Oh, that's so lovely. I like that. That's really good. You found your tribe that fills up your cup, so you're spending time with those people that fill up.
Yeah,
love it.
For sure.
Everyone, thank you so much for spending time with us today. If you have a moment and you have Apple, we would love if you could jump on Apple Podcast if you loved this or previous episodes and leave a great review for us. It really helps our content rise to the top. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Fill up your own cup, and we'll catch you in the next episode. There is no resource more valuable than time, and I thank you for spending your time with us today. Your voice is so important to us, and we would love to hear which topics you would like discussed in future episodes. Please reach out via Instagram at Can I Get a Refill podcast or in our private Facebook group to let us know. If you enjoyed this or previous episodes, we would be so grateful if you could please subscribe, rate and review to help our voices continue to be heard. Catch you in the next episode.